Maven.
They're doing a baptismal for their new child, right? So Michael Scott is at the church, and he's been picked on his whole life. You can tell different things like that. So he realizes that at the church, everybody is extremely nice. So he goes around and he realizes if you say, hey, good morning, everybody, they're going to talk to you. And, I have found myself down here just in stores and different things, almost cutting people off on purpose just so I can go, I'm sorry, because people are so freaking nice. It's like the joke they make about Canada. You cut somebody off down here, they're like, listen, on accident, I walked in front of a guy. I was like, oh, I'm sorry, man, at the Walmart down here, and he was like, oh, you're fine. He goes, oh, you from Louisville? I said, well, yeah, we got to talking, and I'm like, yeah, my wife has a travel nurse job down here and stuff. He's like, oh man, well, welcome, man. Yeah, it's awesome, and stuff. And it's just everywhere you go. The McDonald's this morning, it was just the lady was like, are you having a good day? And I was like, yes, ma'am. I actually am.
That's Southern hospitality, man.
I'm telling you, man. And I was like, yeah, I am having a good day. And she was like, well, good. She said, well, I hope it only gets better from here. And I was like, thank you.
Like, thanks for asking.
Like, thank you. That made me feel good. So yeah. So anyways, I'm in a chipper mood today. I'm feeling good and I'm ready to go. And I've got a new mic stand, and look, I even let the baby sit up here with me today. So we got all that going on. So I'll probably scream at him here. That will take a turn quickly. So
listen, who you sound like to me? The small soliloquy you just gave. And this is so funny. I should not be saying this publicly, but I have to. I took a friend of mine to Tennessee. Well, we had to stop through, Clarksville on our way to North Carolina, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we had to run by Walmart, pick up a couple, residual items in Clarksville, Tennessee.
Right.
So I noticed this look on my friend's face, kind of towards the end of our Walmart trip, right? And so I'm kind of like, dang, what's going on with you? Like I'm seeing a look, what I'm saying? I'm wondering. We get out of this place, and friend says to me, dude, you've been, he tells me, Steve, oh, you've been hiding all this time. I said, what do you mean?
Yeah.
He says, dude, you got the finest girls down here in Clarksville that I've ever seen. And this is just Walmart. He was like, he kind of like gave me a little punch in the side, like, dude, you've been hating, man.
let me assure you also that Knoxville, Sevierville is in the same boat there too. So
yeah. Said friend of mine always talks about when we're going back to Clarksville, when we're going back to Tennessee. Brian, all in the booth. Brian, what's going on, my man?
Nothing, man. It's the NBA draft day. It's like Christmas for me in November when it usually is Christmas for me in June. So I'm excited. It's one of those nights where I actually asked the girlfriend, I'm like, you know what? I need some time to myself tonight. I'm going to just, get a 6-pack of beer. I'm probably going to order a pizza, and I'm literally going to sit in front of the TV and watch the NBA draft. It's one of my things. I like the NBA draft. I like the NFL draft. I can sit there and listen to the analysts and do that. for 2 to 3 hours straight. So I'm really looking forward to tonight. Obviously tonight has a little bit more significance for me because the team that I cheer for, the Minnesota Timberwolves, have the number 1 pick. They have 2 first-round picks. So, we got
and they had 3 good ones to pick from.
We got a couple Kentucky players in the mix. And so it to me, it's an exciting time. I don't necessarily – I know a lot of people have kind of almost forgotten that the NBA draft was tonight because, to be honest, there hasn't really been a lot of promotion for it. And, you're just not used to it this time of year. Everybody thinks that the season just ended. Now we're seeing trades, we're seeing NBA draft, and we're seeing free agency start on Friday. So it's an exciting time in the NBA, and I'm a big basketball fan, so I'm looking forward to tonight.
So there's 2 obvious questions and 1 addressing of the texter I have to get to. 5795. Brian just told you he checked his woman. What are you talking about? He told his woman he needs draft night to himself.
Hey,
Texter says
beer, pizza, go draft.
Listen. Texter says Brian needs a woman. So they obviously weren't listening.
They weren't listening.
Yeah, they weren't listening.
Oh, Brian has a very beautiful
years.
girlfriend. Yeah.
Indeed. Okay, so that's the text out of the way. Now the other 2 questions that have to be asked. What was her response, and who do you want Minnesota to pick?
Okay, so the first question, her response. Typically, she always wonders, why can you get so excited for something like this? Because she doesn't understand. So she'll come over and we'll have like dinner the first part. So she'll come over, eat the pizza or whatever I decide to end up getting, carry out, whatever. Mm-hmm. She'll come over and eat, and then she'll try to watch the first couple minutes of the draft and be nice and be like, oh, this is your thing. And then we'll get like 3 picks in, and she'll be like, how much longer is this going to go? Like, is this almost over? Like, how can you watch this for 3 hours straight? And then about that time, she'll be like, I'm going to go back to bed. And then I'll have the TV to myself at that point. So first off, she usually gets to pick the TV shows we watch on a normal basis if there's not a game going on.
Right.
So she understands when there's a game or something sports related, that's my night to choose.
Right.
So it's a fair trade. So overall, that perception went well. It's one of those things it went well so far, but it'll reach a tough point around pick 3, and then she'll be like, I'm done with this, and then I'll have the rest of the night to myself. But
so on this one, you just said on this one, you just said, hey, spare yourself, just give me draft night.
She understands because she's been with me long enough to know that the draft nights are big nights for me, and they usually fall on like a weekday, and I'm just like, hey, night off.
Yep.
You get to go do whatever you want. I'm gonna be I'll be right here. You don't have to worry about me. I'm gonna be in the recliner.
Okay, Minnesota, the move you want them to make and the move that would absolutely spoil it for you.
Minnesota had plans to totally try to package a deal together for a superstar. It's just a lot of the superstars are not necessarily in the age range that they want that are available. And the asking price for some of the superstars has gotten to be pretty ridiculous when you see a guy like Drew Holiday reel in 3 first-round picks, Eric Bledsoe, and and George Hill. So I think that they didn't really find any superstar trades that they wanted. They wanted Booker, but when the Suns traded for Chris Paul, that was off the table. So I think that they're going to go more of an approach where I think they like Anthony Edwards, the player out of Georgia. I think he fits for them the best because LaMelo Ball has an overlap with Russell and Wiseman has an overlap with Towns. Mm-hmm. I like Edwards' potential too. He's only been playing for 4 years, and he's just a monster. He's a beast. He's 225 pounds at 6'5". I like him. I think that's who they set on. And if they can't get him at 3, they're going to take him at 1. Mm-hmm. I think they're looking to trade down and still get him, pick up a couple pieces from the Hornets, either a PJ Washington, a Miles Bridges, or a Terry Rozier has been rumored in there as well, if they move down. But I don't think they're going to be able. So they're either going to pick Anthony Edwards at 1, or they're going to trade down to where they can still have a chance to get him and pick up an extra piece.
What would spoil it for you?
Spoil it, LaMelo Ball. I'm not excited about LaMelo Ball. I don't know what it is. I think he can be a good player, but I think his ceiling is an all-star for a bad team. I think he's best suited to be on a bad team where he can just do what he wants. I just don't think his efficiency You know, you throw him on the Golden State Warriors if they take him at 2. I think he messes up the chemistry of the team because he's going to try to shoot too much for that team, and he's not the best shooter on the team.
Is his dad still a conversation?
Do what now?
Is his dad still a conversation?
He's been out of the he's stayed out of LaMelo Ball's drafting, which is a little different than what he usually does, because typically when we saw Lonzo, he was all over the media outlets. I think he still is playing a factor, but I think LaMelo has actually told him a couple times. I think just some of the wording and what LaMelo has said, I think he's trying to distance himself from his dad a little bit. Like, hey, Dad, you're still my dad, but let me handle the basketball side.
Yep. Steve, excitement level. Excitement level on NBA draft.
Yeah, sorry. We're having a conversation in the background here. My excitement level on the NBA draft is there. Yeah, it's there today, you know, because I'm starting to get into the day mode of it. And like even tonight, I said we're gonna stay home and we're gonna make dinner and we're gonna watch the draft. So that way I was like, that'd be well, sorry. I just pushed the baby out of the way and yeah, so you see how that goes.
Whoops.
Yeah, anyways, no, and we're going to stay home. We're going to make dinner. And I'm actually, listen, the U of L has done a great job at hyping up Jordan Nwora. I mean, we talked about that yesterday, and today they actually, or over the last 24 hours, I thought they've done a good job at on social media, really getting people to be excited about the draft and be excited about where Jordan Nwora could go. And like even as much as I saw just a second ago, I saw that the Jazz and the Knicks swapped picks, and I was like, well, hey, Jordan Nwora at 27 to the Jazz may be something, you know. So yeah, I am going to be on the lookout for that. Yeah, starting. So yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it. I'm ready to see what happens.
Now, I gotta say this. I was guilty of not realizing we were this close to the draft. Once I started hearing that we were getting really close, then all of a sudden I started remembering what players I know about. Just kind of like, okay, now I get to. I'm almost excited to be reminded that we actually had a college season. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to the highlights. Like, oh yeah, I did see that happen this year. I did see. You know, I don't know how much Louisville highlights I'm gonna be, because I'm gonna watch our team end up in everybody's highlight package again too, and that's gonna get on my nerves. That's gonna legitimately get on my nerves. That's probably the number one thing that I hate to see every draft, because like everybody thinks it's cool for their highlights against Louisville.
I know,
they're major highlights.
Well, it also shows though what we go back and say though all the time is, you come here, you're going to be playing against the top talent. You're going to be playing against the guys that are getting their highlights, you know, that are. So, I mean, you don't like it, but you also do like it, because, I mean, even if it's Zion Williamson or somebody else, it's still Louisville's court getting FaceTime. Louisville's, you know, so, I mean, and then you typically do. I mean, in recent years, you do, you know, have a guy or something, you know, I mean, every couple of years here where you've got a first rounder that's going. So it does keep Louisville's name in the mix too. So I don't hate that.
I am also excited about the trade talk. Like this, I guess increasingly during the off seasons, hearing about guys like trying to develop super teams. Actually, I want to ask you that, Brian. Now that, like, I guess for the last however many years that LeBron, you know, started doing the off-season power shifts, right? Is basketball more exciting to you? Because I hear a lot of people, actually, you know, the people who hate LeBron, I think they use all of this off-season stuff to just kind of like blame LeBron for, you know, people, you know, wanting to play together and all that stuff. But I think the rest of the world like enjoys the super team conversations during the off season. Like, even if it's just like, because most of them don't happen. I mean, we hear all these rumors, but they, you know, we hypothetically put these teams together. One or two moves get made, Are you a
I think
fan?
it's
You a fan of that?
I think it's a great move for the NBA in general because it creates excitement. I mean, when your team is not quite there competing with a team like the Golden State Warriors or somebody Lakers who can win the NBA Finals, you see optimism in the offseason. So the NBA draft brings optimism. It brings hope for the future. And then you hear about all these trades that start circulating. It just builds the hype for the next season. So the NBA knows what they're doing in the sense of building hope. But the thing is every time that we get a super team like the Golden State Warriors, it makes other teams make moves to try to catch them.
I think the ratings go up too. I do think the ratings go up. With
100% the ratings go up. I think as a whole, yes, the NBA benefits from the super teams, and that's why they let it happen, because a lot of people sit here and say, well, James Harden just signed this huge contract. How can he, a couple of years later say, I want out, and then basically name two teams and say, I want to go to one of these two teams, and basically force his team to trade him to there. But I think the NBA lets that happen and is not putting a stop to stuff like that, because they know it's better for the NBA, because they know the rumors are going to create speculation. You're getting excited about it, whether it happens or not. And then if it does happen, honestly, the NBA probably gets better ratings when they have 4 or 5 super teams that really have a chance to win the championship, as opposed to one dominant team and a bunch of average teams.
Steve, outside of LeBron and Jokic, who's your favorite person to watch in the NBA or team?
Well, Jokic wouldn't be up there for me, but
you don't like watching Jokic?
No, I think there's plenty of Jokic.
I'm sorry, Steve. That was terrible what I just did.
Okay.
You know what I did, and you know why I'm apologizing.
What's that?
You know I didn't mean Jokic.
Okay.
You know I meant somebody else.
Luka. Yeah, whatever. Right?
You know I meant Luka, Steve.
They're all the same, right? Whatever.
You knew I meant Luka. But outside of Luka and LeBron, who do you like watching the most?
Oh man, outside of Luka and LeBron, I don't know that there's anybody that I just love watching. Damian Lillard had his time this year, I thought, where he was hot for a while, and that was fun. But I think LeBron is one of the only polarizing guys in the league where you want to watch him, because it's you love or hate him, so take your pick.
Greek Freak?
Yeah, maybe Greek Freak would be another one, but he hasn't played on the big stage yet. You haven't saw him do anything.
So you just see him as kind of a stat guy.
Well, yeah, because he hasn't had a moment where he's never been to a conference finals. Where you have watched him in the big moments. Because in the NBA, it's the big moments. That's when you're made there one way or the other. So yeah, no, I would say that. But I don't know. I'm like I said, I do find myself interested today finding, like I said, waiting to kind of see, because there's a few of these teams, man, that can add a piece here or there. So
Brian, what say you as far as your favorite team person like I say, outside of LeBron? I don't know how you feel about Luka, but to me, those are like two guys that I kind of like watching, but I want to take those out. Who do you really like to watch?
I was trying to think about it, and like Steve said, I don't know if there's necessarily that like exciting player like LeBron who you think can just cram at any point. Like that, dunking and cramming and blocking and cramming and stuff. But I like watching Kawhi Leonard. Just the style of play that he has, and the ability just to take over a game is kind of exciting. It's fun to watch for me when you just come down and he's just every time scoring, and it's just at will.
Did he take a big hit in your book by losing to Denver?
Yes and no. Honestly, I didn't really change my opinion on Leonard as a player, and it doesn't really change my opinion on the Clippers. I think, it's any team can beat any team in a certain series. I think the Nuggets are good, but I think the Clippers are the better team long term with the rosters that they had last season. It just played out where they didn't win that one. So yeah, I think it was disappointing because the Clippers put a lot into that offseason and signing him and then making the trade for Paul George. But I still think that they have a chance to get another title before he leaves the Clippers.
I felt like a pure hater. I was so happy, and Steve, you know this. I was happy to see Paul George stink it up. Like,
oh, I know, yeah, because you were on him quick, man. I mean, yeah, you've always been pretty negative on Paul George. So
big time negative on Paul George. Texas says y'all disrespecting KD. What do you think?
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah, because Kevin Durant during those finals, man. I mean, I remember watching him, and I was rooting for LeBron and them to beat the Warriors, and it was just like, dude, he's Kevin Durant just every single time. It was like, oh man, Cavs got him, and then you're like, nope, Kevin Durant, bang bang. You're like, golly.
And you know what, Steve? The year after LeBron beat them with the Cavs, right? I was just like, I started disrespecting KD. I think so. You know
That's
what I'm saying?
fair.
Like, I mean, KD's awesome. Maybe just his presence off the court has just got under my skin overall. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, dude, maybe like he and Kyrie kind of. Like I think they've eventually just kind of turned me off.
Yeah, that's fair.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'm not a big Texas says give that baby some tussin.
Dude, y'all have no idea.
Listen, when we were talking about the highlights of Louisville being all over everybody's highlight reel, Texas says like Balkman's whole highlight reel when he got drafted. You remember that?
Yeah. Unfortunately, I'm good friends with the guy who put him in that or who was in that highlight. And
right.
It does not make him very happy when you bring that up.
He doesn't have a sense of humor about that.
Yeah. So I'll leave that one alone.
I'm gonna switch it up a little bit. Like you said, you all brought up Kyrie and the Nets. I'm a big Durant fan. I don't know what it is. Like I love watching Kevin Durant. I just think, honestly, I think he's one of the best. Or I would put him top 2-3 players in the NBA right now. But just like having such a big, frame and being able to shoot and move like he does, he's fun to watch. Like I'll tune in just to watch Durant.
I didn't like him complaining about Durantula. You know what I'm saying? He complained about that. He complained about Slim Reaper. It's like, dude, if the Sports Center guys give you the name, dude, you got to own it. You know what I'm saying? Just if they give you the names, like just eat it up. Like
Durantula's a good one.
I thought so too.
Yeah, I think that's great too. But do you want to know? Again, I know we're kind of all over the place here with the draft, but been seeing some projections for Jordan Nwora. I've figured out who I don't want him to go to.
I'm listening.
I keep seeing the projection to the Raptors.
I thought that too.
And I'm like, no, don't go there. Like, I don't know. I don't want him on the Raptors. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, for one, I don't know how good they're going to continue to be for how long,
But Jordan goes to Raptors. Raptors play their season in the Yum Center. Bang.
Well, yeah, that would be awesome. But they also said that wasn't probably going to happen.
Yeah, I know.
So,
Right.
Yeah.
Texas says, Ja's so creative. I love watching him. I don't, because I don't like how risky he is with his body. And I know that can't last, So I think he's fun. He's fun to watch. I agree with that. But I watch him like a high flying, guard. And I just know that, like, dude, you can't keep doing that. You know what I'm saying? I watch Derrick Rose do it. I watch him do it. I'm just like Westbrook's the only guy that I've ever seen in my life beat those odds, for the most part, of being able to be that explosive and that reckless going to the basket.
I got a couple for you with Jordan Nwora.
Where you don't want to see him go?
No. I'm talking about. I'm going to give you a couple that I want to see him, and I'm going based off of kind of the range that he's fallen in, meaning back half of the first round, beginning of the second. Mm-hmm. And when you look at that, the Boston Celtics pick at number 30 and that would be their third first-round pick of the day, so they can take a little bit more chances.
He'll never get past 30.
But
Never.
But I think that they would be a good fit. You know, he would come off the bench and he could be one of the main scorers of the second unit. It would give him a shooter off the bench, but it surrounds him with a lot of talent. So because his best chance of being successful is to be a specialty 3-point shooter. And honestly, he's best suited to go next to a guy like LeBron James, and basically where he can just spot up and he's not relied on to be the scorer. But let me give you one more. Hold on. So the Celtics at 30, the very first pick, I got two more for you. The very first pick of the second round is the Dallas Mavericks. And if the Dallas Mavericks, pair him up with Luka, he actually could possibly contend for a starting spot on a team like that if they don't have a good wing, just because they want to put shooters on the court around Luka. And then one more, hold on. Then the fourth pick and the sixth pick of the second round are the Philadelphia 76ers. And I think he could slide in there and play with a guy like Ben Simmons and just be a spot up shooter.
Give me picks 20 through 29, because I do mean it. You remember Danny Ainge was at Boston College when Jordan tore him up, right?
Yeah.
You remember, because he left early. He was sitting right on the court. He would never get past 30 if Boston Celtics keep that pick.
Okay, so we want to start at 20 and go down. You want me to list them all real quick, or you want to go one at a time?
Just you can list them all. I'll tell you.
All right, so 20 is the Miami Heat. 21 is the Philadelphia 76ers. 22 is the Denver Nuggets. 23 is the Utah Jazz.
It's the Knicks now.
24 is the New Orleans Pelicans. 25 is the Oklahoma City Thunder. 26 is the Boston Celtics. 27 is the New York Knicks.
It's the Jazz.
28 is the Oklahoma City Thunder again. 29 is the Toronto Raptors. And 30 is the Boston Celtics again.
He doesn't get past 26.
Well, the Jazz and the Knicks, they flip those picks now. That just happened a few minutes ago. So the Jazz are now 27.
The Knicks traded
Knicks
2
are
picks
23.
for move up.
I don't want Jordan in Denver. I don't want Jordan in Utah.
Maybe Toronto is a great spot. I just think aesthetically, I'm just like, I feel like Toronto is just like, but
I mean, he's from Buffalo. He can handle it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, no, it would be. And apparently I was reading Jake Weingarten tweeted out him and Kyle Lowry have the same representation. So it might be a spot for him.
Yeah, he has to be. Okay, I do like your Dallas, but he won't be around in the second round. He won't be available. I just like. I agree. I would bet any money.
6'8" shooter. The way he is, and then he shot one of the highest clips at the combine. Yeah, I'm with you. I can't imagine.
I really don't think he gets past 26. You got to think, Danny Ainge drafting Terry Rozier and that working out as well as it did. You know what I'm saying? Like, and the guys that passed on Donovan early, Danny Ainge made the only thing is, and Brian probably knows a little bit about this too, with because I know he keeps up with the trades and what people are doing with the Celtics wanting to move Kemba so bad. I wouldn't be surprised if the Celtics, because I agree with you, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Celtics try to put some of those picks together. So that would be maybe my only fire back at so it's kind of a caveat to what you're saying. Like, I agree, but I could also see them getting rid of those picks for something else too, being in a win now mode.
So the Celtics are actually, an interesting thing about them to keep an eye on is Gordon Hayward, because they made so he was supposed to decide yesterday if he was going to pick up his, I think, $36 million player option for next season. And they got an extension with the NBA to move it back to Thursday. That tells me that he's on the trade block, and that because they want to give the new team the option of, so basically what that does is now they could do he could decline his option to a sign and trade and renegotiate with the new team. And then if they can't work a deal, then he'll just pick up his player option and stay with the Celtics. It gives him leverage. But he was apparently offered for Drew Holiday. So it was Gordon and the 3 first-round picks that they have for Drew Holiday, and they turned it down. I think the Celtics, and this is just me, I think that they might try to work a package to get up high enough where they could I think they want Wiseman, but I don't think they can get high enough to get him.
Mm-hmm.
They might be able to get the USC big man, but I think that they're kind of playing for a big man and trying to get that last starting spot full. They'd like to do it without giving up Hayward, but if Hayward's the only piece they can give up.
Why would the Celtics be trying to go for a big man? You got Taco Fall. Quick commercial break. Middays with Marcus Maven on 939 The Ville.
Skip the holiday rush and shop early and safely at Shane Company. Get gifts of fine jewelry in every price range, wrapped with a burgundy bow and ready to give. Now you have a friend in the jewelry business.
Hey everyone, I'm Brandon Lang. When Matthew McConaughey plays you in a movie, as he did me in 2005's Two for the Money, you have to maintain a certain image. That's hard to do when you're going bald.
I needed to do something, and it needed to be done fast.
Hey, Steve.
Center came to the rescue. Louisville and the Midwest Premier Hair Treatment Center.
You hear me?
I don't even look like the same person. The procedure was an amazing success, and it has totally reframed my face. Go to hairsurgery.com and find out not only how affordable it is, but how you can get your hair back today. Visit hairsurgery.com. That's hairsurgery.com, and tell them Brandon Lang sent you.
Baltimore Ravens football plays here on ESPN Louisville.
Jackson pirouettes to the right, looking over the middle. He's bottled up. Now he slings it complete. He's got his tight end. He's got a touchdown.
Lamar Jackson and the Ravens look to bounce back Sunday as they take on Derrick Henry and the Titans. Pre-game coverage begins at 12:30 with kickoff at 1 on 93.9 The Ville. Ravens football on ESPN Louisville is presented by Liquor Barn, Body Armor Sports Drink, and Molly Malone St. Matthews, home of the Raven.
Hey, Card Nation, let's be honest. The real estate market in Kentucky is booming. And whether you want to buy or sell a home, now is the perfect time to do it. With interest rates at an all-time low and programs that can get you in a home for no money down. Want to learn more? It's simple. Just call Derek A. Stewart with Dream JP Pirtle. Derek is available virtually around the clock to listen, understand, and help you with all your realtor needs. So don't waste another second. Call Derek A. Stewart at 502-314-9868 today.
Love getting prices that are lower than low on backyard favorites like grill-ready hamburgers and fresh-picked strawberries? Then shop at Kroger. We give you more ways to save on the fresh you love with tools like the Kroger app, where you can find personalized coupons on top of weekly sales, plus rewards like fuel points, giving you prices that are lower than the everyday low. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Have you been in a car wreck? Insurance companies can be really tough to deal with on your own. I'm Sam Aguiar, and our team is here to help. We have been fortunate enough to represent thousands of people from Kentucky communities, and we would love to speak with you about your potential case. Our team loves what we do. The consultation for you is free, and we don't charge you anything unless we win the case for you. So come be a part of our team. Our phone number is easy, 502-888-8888. 502-888-8888.
Saturday on Compass Media Network's coverage of NCAA football, it's Bedlam as 14th-ranked Oklahoma State squares off against number 18 Oklahoma. Hi, I'm Drew Bonadelli. Join Bill Rosinski, Chad Brown, and me for all the action of Chuba Hubbard and the Cowboys battling Spencer Rattler and the rival Sooners. Oklahoma State, Oklahoma in Norman. If it's NCAA football, it's right here.
Coverage begins Saturday at 7:30 on 93.9 The Ville.
Bellarmine basketball plays here on ESPN Louisville.
wins the national championship.
That's right. 93.9 The Ville is now your play-by-play home for Knights basketball.
Development program has been one of the very, very best in the history of college basketball.
The season tips off Wednesday, November 25th on the road at Tennessee, Chattanooga. And you can hear it right here on 93.9 The Ville and the ESPN Louisville app.
Wednesday, it's the day of the NBA draft. Will the wheelin' and dealin' make anybody a champion? Plus, we look ahead to the NFL weekend with contenders and pretenders. With me, Greeny.
Catch Greeny from 12 to 2 p.m. on 93.9 The Ville.
This is Drew Diener, and you're listening to 93.9 The Ville, live from the OPC Services Studio.
Everybody. Okay. Since I did have a second, I want everybody to understand what I'm asking here. Steve, Brian,
Yes.
we're
Yes.
counting our current roster and all the signees. How many of them will wear an NBA uniform? Not a G League uniform, not will go pro. How
Okay.
many of the current roster and the guys that are signed to play will wear an NBA roster. Brian,
You want me to go first?
Brian, go ahead, bud.
So I'm thinking about the current roster first off. I think David Johnson is definitely going to play in the NBA someday. I have hope that Samuel Williamson is going to make a jump and play in the NBA someday. And then I am going to give Jalen Withers an outside hope that he plays. I think Malik might fall short, but could potentially be like a second round pick for somebody after next season. It'll depend how he comes back after his injury, because he was already like a borderline possible pick, and then you add on the injury, it's gonna scare some NBA teams away. I think he's a potential, but for this argument, I'm not gonna put him in there. And then everybody likes Carlik Jones, but I don't know if he is an NBA player or not, but I think he's going to have such a good year that he will get drafted in the second round by somebody and at least given a chance. But I don't know if he actually makes a roster like once it's all said and done. So I'm going to go with 3 guys on the current roster. I'm going to go Withers, Johnson, and I'm holding out hope that Samuel Williamson makes a jump. I've always been a Williamson fan, and he's just got that NBA body because he's a 6'7" wing.
Yeah.
So he just has to get decent at the college game to get a shot in the NBA. Now, looking at the prospects, it's tough to say. Are you talking about like this year's class coming in?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so currently on the team.
No. The signees
For next year.
Yep.
Wheeler could potentially be a guy that gets in there. I just feel like Pettiford, and then going back to Carlik, those are guys that are gonna get, even though they're not bad size for college players, they're gonna say, oh, they're 6 foot, 6'1".
Do they wear an NBA uniform?
3.
So you'll leave it at 3.
3.
Steve?
Okay, I have pretty basic for me. David, Sam, Dre Davis, Trainer. Let me see. Mike James, Wheeler. I'll go there as
if
guys.
we get
I think
7 guys off this list to go to the NBA, that'll be the most we've ever had.
We had 9 on one team just a few years ago.
Okay.
We sat out the tournament.
But did all 9 of those guys actually make the roster?
I mean, we just
that's
said
what he's saying.
Put on they wore an NBA uniform.
9.
Yeah. I mean, Louisville's had a lot more guys. Like I said, that's where you hear. I mean, people forget. Like Louisville's had a lot more dudes in the draft or in the NBA than like people act like. Like there's like this theory out there that Gorgie Jang, Trez, Terry, and Donovan are the only guys that's played in the NBA from Louisville in the last 30 years.
Right.
It's like, no, they're quite a few dudes have,
Okay, now who will wear an NBA uniform? I say David Johnson. I think L. Ellis is going to put on an NBA uniform.
I fought that one.
I'll go with that one too.
Yeah, I fought that one myself.
I think L. Ellis is going to put on a uniform. Who's more likely to put on a pro uniform, Withers or Sam?
That was tough. I went Sam. Yeah, I went Sam, but that one's tough because if Withers has the type of year that people are talking about, see, he won't project as a center in the league. But when he shows he can guard guys that big, I think that could help his stock. And he'll be one of those guys where he never plays in position in college, but what he can do out of position will make him more attractive to his actual position, which is probably a 3 in the league,
I think Withers is actually like the stereotypical new stretch 4. I think he actually fits the new NBA style better at the 4 position than we think.
Yeah, I agree with that, Brian. I would say I said a 3, but yeah, I mean, I could. I mean, he's 6'9". I mean, he could be.
I mean, you see guys like, and this is not a comparison of player. I'm just talking about the concept of the positions. Like Aaron Gordon was a guy coming out of high school or college. Everybody thought he was going to be a small forward. Now, due to the modern day NBA, by the time he was drafted as a small forward, and now he is currently a 4 in the modern NBA.
Today's sound sheet, Brian compares Jalen Withers to Aaron Gordon.
No, I'm not even talking about skill set. I'm just
Brian, that doesn't
I'm
matter.
giving you an example of a player who you would classify in the old NBA game as a 3.
We got to get him some headphones.
You would classify an Aaron Gordon as a 3. You'd classify like a Rudy Gay as a 3. You'd classify like guys like that in the old NBA were 3s, but are now 4s in the modern NBA.
You're going to have to start wearing headphones.
Sorry.
Brian, you act like any of that matters. That's that.
Oh, you're talking about from the soundbite?
Yeah, somewhere.
Mitch there's no context to what I said. I got you.
Yeah. Right now, Mitch is like, Brian compares Withers to Aaron Gordon.
Not at all either. Like, I don't even think they play the same style.
10:51. They play the same style.
Okay. Right now, I have DJ in a pro and wears a professional uniform.
We all, I think that's the one guarantee, in my opinion.
I'm thinking JJ Trainer might put on an NBA uniform.
Yeah, I went Trainer. I went Trainer too.
Do you guys think Carleek could get a chance as a second-round pick that ends up making the roster as like a third-string point guard?
Brian, what bothers me about him is going to be his age.
Yeah.
I think he's going to have to play so incredible. It's almost like he has an unfair what's the word I'm looking for, Marcus? Like, it's almost an expectation, like unfair set of rules for him to get drafted.
Well, let me give you some examples in this draft that are guys that are what you're talking about. They're going to be great college players, but not being looked at as NBA prospects. A guy named Miles Powell. Miles Powell for Seton Hall was one of the leading scorers in the country last year. He's projected at the end of the second round right now. Cassius Winston was up for National Player of the Year with Michigan State. He's projected mid-second round right now. You got guys like Peyton Pritchard from Oregon. He averaged 20 points a game, but he's being projected in the second round right now. So, Marcus Howard averaged 27 points a game for Marquette into the second-round pick. So even though he could be a great player for Louisville as far as college, but my thing is he fits into those category with those players that could end up getting a chance at the end of the second round just because they were so good, even though they don't really fit an NBA prospect profile.
Yeah. I'm trying to go with my locks, not just because here's the thing. We can name 10 guys who will kind of like be right on the borderline, if they have a really good year and get out of here early, like Jalen Withers. Like you wouldn't be surprised if he got in a draftable position. You wouldn't be bad. Like there's a lot of guys with enough size, like your Dre Davis. I like that one. Your JJ Trainers, like all those, right? Like I said, right now, I think Sam's name is still strong enough to get him a good look. I think David's name and Sam's name are the only like names that are okay. Put it this way. David, Sam have the names. L. Ellis has the name that gets him into doors that just some people are not going to get into. But I think if Dre Davis, who we're going to talk about next hour, if he has a good freshman year, I'm going to listen. I'll know within 6 games if Dre Davis is going to wear an NBA uniform.
Yeah, because he'll almost have to be a 2 and done, right?
Yes, because he doesn't have the name just yet, but if he comes from Indiana and puts in work as a freshman for Louisville,
yeah,
I could, because he has he has a nice little game on him, and you know, I'm going to go into big time.
Yeah, I was going to say we'll go into detail because if he ends up starting, watch out. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Put it this way: we'd be cheating people if we started the
Sure.
Dre Davis conversation right now. So
real quick to wrap up the Carlik Jones, that's I get the point where you're talking about on the age, because he's going to be coming out at 22, 23 years old, and that is a major red flag for guys in the NBA when it's all based on potential. So he has 2 slashes against him in the fact that 6'1" is undersized for a point guard in the NBA, and he's going to be 23 years old heading into the NBA. He's only going to, no matter how good he plays this year, his best chances as a second round pick.
listen, that killed Damian Lee, and he was one of the best shooters in the country, and players in the country, you know, for Louisville, and that totally did a number. Like he had to prove in every single, you know, situation that he was ready to go. So yeah,
because you see guys like Emmanuel Quickly, he Services Studio. Is there a meaning behind it?
Yeah.
Say what I said one more time.
Is there you said you were kind of laughing and you were like, you don't remember what happened? And as you were saying that, I kind of remember, like, did I just fall asleep? Right.
The meaning behind it probably is that the roles had reversed, and that you were the one that was not caught up on a conversation that maybe me and Steve were having. You know, me and Steve were having a conversation, and you were tuned out or checked out, and then you're like, "What'd y'all just say?" And that's kind of like me usually when I'm back here like doing something, and I'm like, and you guys are like having a conversation. I'm like, "Hey, have you guys talked about this yet?" "Oh no, y'all been talking about it for the last 15 minutes." Sorry.
So I was subconsciously being Brian in my dream.
I think we reverse roles in your dream.
Okay, well,
maybe you have a big fear about me doing that, and so now it's rubbing off on you.
That's possible. I guess everybody has an interpretation. Steve, what's your interpretation of what that was?
I think that the studio represented sports to you, and sports right now, the sport in talking to you, the sport that's on your mind the most is basketball. And I think that something that's been on your mind also has been the well-being or the thought process of the Louisville Cardinal fan base. And I think your sleep represented what's happening in the fan base, because you want success. So in your mind, you were in the studio and you're sleeping and you're going, okay, in my mind, I'm here because in my mind, I'm thinking about the sport of basketball and I want success. So I'm here, I'm in the studio in my dream, and you're looking for answers, but you were sleeping because you were sleeping on somebody. You were sleeping on an answer. And when we woke you up and Brian said what?
He said, you don't remember what happened? That's what he asked me.
You don't remember what happened?
Yep.
As if you missed something that was great. And what you missed was Chris Mack handed out a gold jersey. And somebody finally dethroned the king. The king being Carlik Jones for 5 weeks running. Gold jersey, you can't take it off of me. And we said, who's going to get him? Well, now that Malik's out, maybe Minlin. Minlin's out. I mean, David didn't really take it off of him because David just shared it with him. So that was kind of like, well, you were good, but you know. So David didn't take it off of him. So who could do it? Sam's going to take it off of him, right? Okay, all right, we're looking for answers. When in reality, we've watched film. We've watched recruits coming in. We've watched things, and we've all thought the same thing. But we've all been too scared to step out on the ledge and just say it. And that is that Dre Davis took the jersey off of Carlik Jones yesterday. Dre Davis took the gold jersey. He ripped it off of Carlik Jones' body and was like, yeah, imagine this. Dre Davis has watched practice. All right. Yeah, we got this gold jersey. You know, it's a big deal. All right. Carlik's good. Man, you know, all right. So Sam, you gonna take it? No. You gonna take it over there? No. If ain't nobody gonna take his gold jersey, I'm going to take his gold jersey. I'm a freshman, and I know I'm supposed to know my role, and I'm supposed to stay in my lane, but that's not really, as you notice from my video, when my video, I said, yeah, I really ain't into all this video stuff. I'm just here to hoop. Dre Davis said, I'm going to shred that jersey off of Carlik Jones. Dre Davis walked into practice last week and said, because they showed highlights in the video, and that was all last week's practice. Dre Davis said, there's 2 starting spots just opened up. I'm not just going to take that. I'm going to take the gold jersey too. And Dre Davis took the gold jersey this year. And I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't take a starting spot at some point. And you were sleeping, and we all were sleeping when maybe the answer was right up under us. And the answer is DeAndre Davis. That's the interpretation to your dream.
Well, there's one problem. That wasn't interpretation. That was premonition. that was reality. That
Fair
was
enough.
actually what was actually happening.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about who was I sleeping on, and it was Dre Davis.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do? You find out Dre Davis wins the gold jersey, right? And then you say kind of go, oh yeah, I mean, we have been giving him his props a little bit, and we've been putting him as a guy who could contribute and fill in, some of the stuff we're missing in the toughness and the defense category. We mention his name with all the little missing pieces we might have, or the stuff that we might lose from last year. But we say, okay, but he's young, you know what I'm saying? Even when we talk about recruiting classes, we're just like, why don't we ever mention Dre Davis? You know what I'm saying? Like his size and his, his aggression, and looks like he got a nice stroke to him. And when you see the basketball that he's playing and the area he came from, and then you look at his did David Johnson not win Mr. Basketball?
No. Mr. Basketball's still sitting the bench for Kentucky.
Yeah, and he played a couple games that year. Half the season.
And you know what made me think that, right?
What's that?
Yeah, no, Dre Davis was the David Johnson of Indiana. Not really, but you get the point.
Yeah, no, you're losing, you lose to Mr. Basketball is there to top 10, top 20 guys.
You're right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. David Johnson, though.
By the way, I have the video you sent me on in the background right now.
Oh, the one that took a little deeper. Okay,
yeah.
So DeAndre Davis wins the gold jersey, people. Okay, so I go to the video that everybody's seeing, the quick, mixtape video, just the 7 highlights just shot from different angles in that one. Then you go to the other one that you go to the video where he commits and you say, okay, I want to find out about this guy, Louisville commit, DeAndre Davis. And, you get a little feel for him. Then you start going deeper where you see the DeAndre Davis versus some other kid who's supposed to be good. And you go a little deeper to those videos. Then you start saying, okay, this is not just highlight stuff. This is a player, right? Like this is a player, you start looking at his effort. You can't see that on the highlight stuff. You just start seeing how hard he's playing all the time.
Yeah.
And then you start saying, he's a real player. Like he's I know I make this reference all the time. He's a Coach Crum kind of guy. Left hand, right hand, uses the glass when he's supposed to. It's not like he's not super Euro step, new age guy. You know what I'm saying? He just, I'm gonna go get a bucket. If you cut me off, I'm spinning and I'm going to the left hand. Just like that kind of stuff. He's not a footwork trick you guy. Like I'm athletic, I'm strong, I'm tough. It's kind of like that. And you're like, yes, why didn't we have him as one of the first guys that was going to end up taking? Because I think we were hoping Sam would be the guy, but then we overshadowed, or we didn't, I think at the time we didn't know Sam or Malik's injury, or Josh's injury status. So we were just kind of looking for Jalen Withers to toughen up. But the whole time you're like, yeah, he's probably one of the dudes with the rawest game to do that. Because we said Carly has it. DeAndre Davis has it. I can't wait till we do our 3-on-3 draft. We pick the guys who just got raw game.
This is going to be one of the tougher 3-on-3 drafts that we've had.
Coach Mack, what was his excitement level to give DeAndre Davis that jersey?
Oh, I imagine through the roof because listen, DeAndre Davis is everything that Coach Mack loves in a recruit. I mean, I'm watching video now and when he scores, just his I don't care to turn around. See, a lot of people, they don't want the fight because it's like, now I'm drawing the best out of you. Like you have to be willing. If you're a trash talker, see, this is something nobody ever talks about. Trash talkers, people say, oh, they're just punks or something like that. Trash talkers on the court aren't afraid. Like, we have a buddy who trash talks. Really, I mean, he's an excellent player, but we're always like, man, every time we play, we're like, Billy's going to piss everybody off, and now everybody's going to play. We get everybody's toughest game because Billy runs his mouth to them. And if anybody knows Billy Crable, that's listening, you know what I'm talking about. And you're like, God, now we've got to play our hardest. He's a great dude, but he's a super nice guy, but on the court, he's an animal, right?
Right.
Trash talkers aren't afraid to play you at your best. They want your best, I mean, like,
or they want you to quit.
Yeah, or they want you to quit.
Yeah.
So yeah, because they're like, I'm either going to pull it out of you or you're going to quit, one of the two. So, I mean, when I watch this video, and I'm watching a new one now, it's just a full game of Lawrence Central versus Pike, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm watching, and Davis, just how he gets the ball, makes a move, goes up and scores, and tells the dude to blank out of here. Looks him right in the face, like, what are you doing? Like, if that's the best you got, then you need to go sit down now.
Right. And he does it against small guards. He does it against big guards. You can tell he's like immersed into is it Coach Mack who always talked about getting lost in the game?
Yeah, because he said Dwayne Sutton gets lost in the game. Yeah. So, and to the comment on the YouTube channel, we're talking about us selling this car. I mean, like, here's the thing. I'm not a salesman to that, so I'm not going to sell you a car I don't believe in. Not this deep. And DeAndre Davis is something I believe in selling right now. It's been one of those things where I almost am ashamed of myself for waiting this long to do it. You know how sometimes we like to jump on a guy early and you're like, hey, watch out for this one.
I think because you didn't see a specialty, right? When you don't know a guy's special, you can't see something that just instantly transfers.
I think Minlin and Sam scared me off too, because I thought he might be a casualty to minutes. To Minlin and Sam coming into the year. But this kid doesn't seem like he's going to allow that. It seems like he's going to get the minutes. He's not waiting for the minutes to be given. It's like, no, there's minutes out there. I'm going to take them. And I think he's everything Coach Mack loves, to answer your question.
Does he start next week?
I think so. I think he does. I don't have any insight on that. And if he doesn't start next Wednesday,
he's first off the bench.
I was going to say when we go up to Indy for the battle in the bubble, trademarked by the NCAA, we will. I believe that he will be starting. Yeah.
So by the end of the season, he'll be a full-time starter.
Yeah, and it may. I mean, heck, he may be in 2 weeks. I mean, so I'm not saying it'll take that, but I'm saying, like, there will be no question in my mind by the end of the year that he is a starter. And if he's not. First off, we're one hell of a team. Second off, he is going to be probably the main contributor off the bench.
Will he be top 5 in minutes?
Yeah. Now that I'm very confident in. I'm very confident in right now that he'll be top 5 in minutes. Just the way he works, the way his attitude is.
He shoots high. Like, he has a high release people. Like, so this is a guy who can get his shot off, on a pull-up jump shot or something like that. Like, he's really That's funny. I saw Jimmy Boeheim in transfer portal, and I was like, what?
Can we do that?
Our coaches get the transfer portal.
Can we do that?
Right. Okay. Well, listen, what coach would you take? What coach would you add to our roster out of the transfer portal? You could just put a coach on our bench.
Well, that's not fair. I mean, because Krzyzewski, who would I trade Chris Mack for?
No. I was just going to say add to his staff.
Well, I mean, you've got to Rick Pitino. I mean, yeah, probably. Give me Rick and Kay.
I don't know. Coach Mack owns Coach K. He's straight.
Give me Calipari. Give me Calipari. Go get me some recruits, and then give me a guy who can coach them. Like, yeah, let's go.
So go get Cal's players and just send
Yeah,
them send them right
No,
beside Matt.
absolutely. Give me Kenny Payne. Put Kenny Payne on my sideline.
You work with my big man.
Yeah, right.
Just go ahead and work with Gabe and get him
Yeah.
right. Get him,
No, absolutely.
turn him into Samaki.
Yeah, no, 100%. But yeah, no, I'm really excited about Dre Davis, and I could not have been happier to see that gold jersey be taken off of Carleek by him. I mean, I think that's just absolutely perfect. A perfect guy to do it for what this team needs, because he is what this team needs. And what I mean by that is he is a guy that's going to make up for Malik's intensity. He's a guy that's going to be able to make up for some of Dwayne Sutton's rebounding. He's going to be able to make up for a lot of things that this team needs things made up for.
Every team needs an angry man too.
Absolutely. So it's not just one of thit's Dre Davis and he's a good player. And, okay, what if he was an exceptional point guard? Well, cool. It's good to have that, but we have two of those. I mean, the reason he is important is because the things he's going to do is going to be exactly what Louisville needs on this basketball team for it to be great.
Who's going to be a better defender, Dre Davis or Jalen Withers?
That's tough because, look, as much as I do love Dre Davis and everything I've said about Dre Davis, I haven't watched Dre Davis when the lights come on in college yet, but I have watched it. I mean, Marcus, if you could see, and I know you have, I'm watching now, it's switched to another video and it's another big game. And you know what they're doing? It's Lawrence Central versus Lawrence North. And they just took a camera and the guy panned whoever was doing the camera panned all the way around. There's 4,000 or 5,000 people in there. I mean, it's insane. I would argue outside of Cameron Indoor, he probably won't play in a tougher environment all year than this Lawrence North, Lawrence Central game.
Right. Just the high school crosstown rivalry game. Just like, let's get it.
Yeah, I mean, this place is, it's wall. Of course, this is last year or whatever, but it's wall to wall people. And he's out here and look, what does he do? He just dominates. I mean, it's like, so that's where I'm not as afraid either. Like, even with Aiden, me and you would always say, but that competition he played in high school is, there's a couple guys we've had come in where I'm like, it's like, man, Dre Davis, I think another confidence in us is, he didn't come from, and I know Aiden come from New York. So
I
what
was
I'm about to say,
sad not being able to put Aiden in an NBA uniform in our conversation earlier.
Yeah, I agree, but Aiden's going to have his chance. So if Aiden's not with what's happened with Malik, if Aiden's not, then Aiden's going to have to look at Aiden at the end of the day. So, that's kind of his.
I'm not punting on him, but.
Oh, no, me either.
Yeah.
Dude, the dude played behind Steve and Malik, and people around just act like, and I'm not even saying Louisville fans, but like when you talk to people in the back in the studio there, it's like, well, Aiden sucks. We know that. And it's like, well, do we?
Right. And
because he didn't beat Malik and Steve out for minutes.
And don't look for Coach Mack to sing the praises of anybody.
Yeah, and now look, maybe he does. Now I'll listen to that. If you want to just say, hey, we don't know what Aiden's got. Now that's fair, because in practice, Stephen Malik probably beat the crap out of him. He's a freshman playing against two guys that's played 3 and 5 years of college basketball, the size and strength that they are. Yeah, they probably abused him in practice. Like, seriously, he probably, but Marcus, let me remind you, I remind you all the time of the stories I told, or you saw too. Where freshmen have come in and cried in their dorms, where it's like, dude, this is unreal. I told you the story of walking into the Yum Center, watching Gorgie and Trez, and Gorgie just abusing Trez on
just grown man stuff.
Nobody's in the gym but them two on the block. And Gorgie's just like, and look, and Trez gets so angry and just throws the ball up against the bleachers.
Right.
And it was so funny because I've never saw anything better than this. Trez throws the ball up against the bleachers, and Gorgie, just in Gorgie fashion, he just kind of gives that, kind of gives that smile like, dude, I'm going to do this to you all night, man. So come back over here.
And you can't beat me up. This workout ain't over with.
Yeah. And Trez, he wasn't a guy that found himself on the court all the time. Now, early in his, so I say, let's give Aiden a chance, but I also say, Aiden, you got your chance. So after this year, if you don't do it, maybe Louisville ain't for you.
Brian Hall is going to be joining us on the live quick commercial break, Middays with Marcus Maven on 939 The Ville.
Hey guys, golfing season is back, and what better way to celebrate than with a round at Wooded View Golf Course in Clarksville. Located just minutes from downtown Louisville off Veterans Parkway and I-65, Wooded View Golf Course is convenient and affordable. Wooded View also features a pro shop, lounge, and an outdoor patio to relax for before and after your round. Schedule your tee time today at woodedviewgc.com. Again, that's woodedviewgc.com.
Have you been in a car wreck? Insurance companies can be really tough to deal with on your own. I'm Sam Aguiar, and our team is here to help. We have been fortunate enough to represent thousands of people from Kentucky communities, and we would love to speak with you about your potential case. Our team loves what we do. The consultation for you is free, and we don't charge you anything unless we win the case for you. So come be a part of our team. Our phone number is easy, 502-888-8888. 502-888-8888.
Saturday on Compass Media Network's coverage of NCAA football, it's Bedlam as 14th-ranked Oklahoma State squares off against number 18 Oklahoma. Hi, I'm Drew Bonadelli. Join Bill Rosinski, Chad Brown, and me for all the action of Chuba Hubbard and the Cowboys battling Spencer Rattler and the rival Sooners. Oklahoma State, Oklahoma in Norman. If it's NCAA football, it's right here.
Coverage begins Saturday at 7:30 on 93.9 The Ville.
Hey, all you sports fans and dog lovers out there, Brian Hall here. When it's time for the big game, big fans need big TVs. And sometimes you may even want to bring your dog. And at Double Dogs, you can do both and even satisfy those big appetites. With choices like Black Angus burgers, wings tossed in homemade sauces, and dog bowl nachos. Double Dogs will make sure you get the fuel you need at lunch or dinner while never having to miss a game. So whether you have 2 legs or 4, you can cheer on and chow down at Double Dogs, located in the Middletown Commons.
Get special Black Friday savings all month long at O'Brien Ford. It's the best time of year to buy. Right now, get a new 2020 Ford Escape with 0% financing for 60 months plus $2,000 in trade-in cash. Or choose a new 2020 F-150 with 1.9% financing plus up to $2,500 in cash rebates. O'Brien Ford, just a short drive to Shelbyville. Drive a little, save a lot. Or visit o'brienford.com. Includes $1,000 retail trade assist cash.
I'm former Louisville basketball player Luke Hancock. When the NCAA tried to take away the Most Outstanding Player Award from the 2013 tournament, I got it back thanks to Morgan & Morgan. Morgan & Morgan is the personal injury firm that fights for the people, and their team treats clients like family. Morgan & Morgan changed my life, and if you've been injured in a car crash, at work, or in a slip and fall, they may be able to change yours. For a free consultation, dial #LAW on your cell phone. That's #529, offices Louisville.
Baltimore Ravens football plays here on ESPN Louisville.
Jackson pirouettes to the right, looking over the middle. He's bottled up. Now he slings it complete. He's got his tight end. He's got a touchdown.
Lamar Jackson and the Ravens look to bounce back Sunday as they take on Derrick Henry and the Titans. Pre-game coverage begins at 12:30 with kickoff at 1 on 93.9 The Ville. Ravens football on ESPN Louisville is presented by Liquor Barn, Body Armor Sports Drink, and Molly Malone St. Matthews, home of the Raven.
I'm Ethan Moore. And I'm Taylor Lynch. Check out Louisville Sports Live, the city's longest-running all-U of L sports talk show, every Wednesday at 6 o'clock, right here.
All the best local and national guests talking all things Louisville football, basketball, and recruiting.
Every Wednesday at 6, right here on 93.9 The Ville. And follow us on Twitter at Elville Sports, without an O live.
And check out the website, LouisvilleSportsLive.net. Go Cards.
Bellarmine basketball plays here on ESPN Louisville.
Bellarmine wins the national championship.
That's right. 93.9 The Ville is now your play-by-play home for Knights basketball.
Bellarmine program has been one of the very, very best in the history of college basketball.
The season tips off Wednesday, November 25th on the road at Tennessee, Chattanooga. And you can hear it right here on 93.9 The Ville and the ESPN Louisville app.
Patty Ice here. It's a Wednesday edition of The Drive with Mark Ennis and Luke Hancock as we are talking everything hoops. NBA draft analyst Matt Babcock joins as he gives us his take on where Jordan Ward will get selected. We also catch up with multiple coaches expected to play in the U of L bubble as Byron Smith of Prairie View A&M hops on and UNC Greensboro Wes Miller joins as well. Once again, you can catch all that and more in The Drive, 3 to 6 p.m. on 93.9 The Ville.
When you are buying or selling a home, you have a ton of questions that need to be answered. Well, what if I could answer those questions with 3 simple words? Call Josh Jarbo. Josh specializes in residential real estate, getting buyers the home of their dreams and sellers top dollar for their home with the best negotiating skills in the industry. And if you tell him you heard about him right here, you'll receive up to a $5,000 seller's credit. So contact Josh Jarbo today at 502-216-7590 or joshjarbo@remax.net.
This is Drew Diener, and you're listening to 93.9 The Ville, live from the OPC Services Studio.
Middays with Marcus Maben on 93.9 The Ville is broadcasting live from the OPC Pest Services Studio. Now, here's Marcus Maben and Steve Rummage.
Welcome back. Welcome back. It's Middays with Marcus Maben, 8150. 93.9 is the number. 93.9 is the station. For those of you who sometimes enjoy the YouTube channel, which is made for the Ville, or the Periscope. Now we have Brian Hall. If you're ever wondering what Brian Hall looks like or what his booth looks like, he is giving a behind the scenes tour of the studio, of what it looks like from his point of view. He's showing you all his equipment.
It's very cool.
Right? We finally got Brian to check in.
I like this, man. Like, yeah, we need to do more of this with Brian. Speaking of the YouTube, Marcus, I know or our Made for the Ville stream, I guess, should we start calling it, tonight during the draft. I was thinking maybe if you want to hop on here, I'll pull up the iPad and we can maybe once after we get to about pick 15 or so or
right.
whatever, we can jump on here and maybe have a little conversation about the picks that were and wait for Jordan Ward to get picked.
So we'll have a Jordan Wara draft stream.
Yeah, so if you're good with that, maybe if people want to join us tonight, we'll set it up and be on here and we'll watch and kind of talk about that. If you want to jump on here and talk about it with us, and we'll tweet that out, Facebook that out, and all that good stuff. So
actually, that is a great idea. So people right now, what you should do to prepare, just go to Made for the Ville YouTube, hit the subscribe button and hit the alert button, the little bell notification, and it will go out to the masses the moment we start. You'll get your little YouTube notification. Okay, the fellas are starting it up.
Yep.
It is draft day though, Steve.
It is draft day. I mean, I think that's kind of the story right now. I mean, you know, we were wondering, Brian's talked about it a few times. And again, I know Brian's like me. We love the draft. Like, I mean, like I drafts, I have as much fun with drafts as I do finals a lot of times. But his team's at the top of the draft. I mean, so there's obviously been a lot of excitement there for him. But I do think that today, and it's funny how 24 hours can change that. I mean, even watching Sports Center, we talked about it yesterday. I think Brian said it. Like
they're talking to you in the comment section too, Brian. Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, there hasn't been a lot of hype about this draft, but now on Sports Center there has been. I mean, over the last 24 hours, I watched a mock draft last night on Sports Center. They did a special. Today has been draft talk a lot on Sports Center. So I do think they're embracing the 24 hours of the draft here. pretty well. So yeah, so I mean, I'm ready for it, man. I mean, I'm excited. I'm gonna sit down, watch a little AEW, watch a little draft. I'm gonna have them both on. So yeah, it's gonna be fun.
What's on the dinner plan? You said you're staying in and cooking for the draft.
Yeah, we're gonna have some loaded mashed potatoes, some mac and cheese, so really carb loading, and then listen, I'm gonna get real fancy because do you ever have like those meals where you're like, people may scoff at it, but to you it's like, no, I don't care. Like, you can make fun of it all you want. Mine is the Encore chicken patty Parmesan things. They're like, chicken patties. They're like chicken patties with mozzarella cheese in them. They're stuffed and they come with like tomato sauce all over them, but they're just like a couple bucks for a box. They're right next to the Salisbury steaks. They're just
what are
everything
they called?
I love. I can't remember. They're called like chicken Listen, y'all talk.
I love some Parmesan chicken. All right.
Give me 10 seconds.
Okay, you got it. Yeah.
He's gonna check the fridge.
No, he's either gonna check the fridge,
or he's gonna check Xavier,
or he's gonna check Xavier,
or he's gonna do both.
It's something. He described it as stuffed chicken patty with mozzarella and tomato sauce all over it.
It sounds kind of like a cordon bleu that has been turned into a chicken Parmesan version.
He's actually showing it on. He's showing it right now on the YouTube channel.
Yeah,
it looks delicious.
Encore chicken Parmesan with tomato sauce, 6 breaded patties. So yeah, they're just a couple bucks, like, but they are my go. Like, they're my, like, to me, this is a cuisine.
Is that the equivalent to my lasagnas?
Yes, exactly. Like, just like when I throw these in, I'm like, this might as well be Ruby's to me. You know, like, I'm like, it's just amazing.
Listen, I'm ashamed. Yeah, I'm ashamed at how much I love just these store bought, throw it in the oven, 65 minutes, and it's lasagna with layers and crispy edges, and they did a really good job. And like I said, so I don't like to do the pre-packaged all the time, but the lasagna that does. I think I'm gonna do the Steve, we talked about the other day. I think I'm gonna do for dinner the pot roast. The pot roast with already vegetables on the side. I might don't add some baby.
Yeah, no, those are incredible. So, but yeah, so point being, I mean, much like Brian on draft days, I am a very much a dinner at home watch. And like I said, tonight I got a pretty good AEW show, so I'm gonna be watching that and watching the draft at the same time. So I'm looking forward to it.
It's a big night for me, man. Like I said, honestly, like I think I miss my calling. Like NBA, NFL, those are kind of my hotbeds. I'm in a college sports world, and don't get me wrong, I love my Cardinals.
You don't
but
got a podcast?
I feel like my knowledge is more in depth with NBA and NFL.
You should have already released a podcast on the NFL. B Hall, please give me your name on the DraftKings fantasy app. Okay, so fantasy app, DraftKings.
Oh, we're gonna do some head-to-heads.
I think.
Hold on, I'll give you that here in just a second.
I think somebody's trying to call you out on the text line. Just enjoy doing head-to-head matchups. Okay, yep, that's what it. So yeah, so our advertising at DraftKings is, of course, doing its job. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do the pot roast with the vegetables already. Dude, yeah, I think I'm gonna really, really enjoy that one. We got to get to the phone lines coming up. Jason, thanks for joining us on 93.9. Fire away.
Hey guys, thanks for taking my call. If you all get hard up tomorrow for some stuff to talk about in the show, in tonight's draft, look how ugly some of these guys are. I'm telling you, if it wasn't for money, those ball guys wouldn't have any women, period. You ought to rank the guys tonight in the lottery on who's the ugliest, because I'm going with ball first. Start clicking them in. You watch it. Mark my words. These are some of the ugliest men I've ever seen in my life in this year's draft. I'm going to hang up and listen.
Oh, he meant that too.
Who hurt you?
Oh, Jason.
Jason, who
And I love when Jason calls too,
Jason,
man. That's
who hurt you to make you say that?
oh man, that was brutal.
But here's the thing, like, guys have. I mean, they have their moments when they're ranked on looks, but really, once you get, to the adult male stage, like your money makes the difference a lot. I mean, actually, it makes the difference with everybody as adults. I mean,
listen.
You ever see Chloe
Just admit.
without money?
Oh, just admit something though right now. Jason ruined it for you. Because now everybody within the sound of Jason's voice is going to watch the draft tonight, and they're going to go, well, I mean, that guy don't look that bad. That one's ugly.
Dude, Steve, you're 100% wrong on this one. I will not think for 1 second how good looking or ugly a guy is during the draft. Not one waking moment will I think about the visual pleasure of a drafted. Do you think anybody cares about how they look as they're getting drafted?
Who's the ugliest guy in the draft? Probably is Lonzo, or not Lonzo, LaMelo.
No, because then you know what's going to happen. That I mean, not because Jason said it. What's going to happen is it's going to be the Drake thing, like the light skinned dudes are not supposed to be that ugly, and that he's going to get those jokes like big time. But
yeah,
I really won't spend one, and I wouldn't be talking about how good I got it. Maybe that's it. Just talking about it, how good or bad a dude looks who just got drafted is kind of like not my thing.
Fair enough, man. Fair enough. Yeah, we can.
Okay.
So I see y'all are buying up all the toilet paper up there again.
I'm not playing that game either.
What happened? I mean, like I said, I've been down here for 3 or 4 days, man. Brian, now you can't get TP again.
You want to address?
Yeah, you can come back in.
You want to address Steve's panic or
about the TP?
Yeah.
You know what was weird? I was calling different people yesterday, and all of them were like, "Man, when you're preparing for the shutdown again," I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And they're like, "Well, it's Bashir said, on over the weekend," and I was like, "What do you mean?" And they were like, "Well, he said that." that the numbers were getting worse, and that if things didn't change by Wednesday, expect new regulations. And I was like, okay, so everybody's just assuming he's going to do it. And I was like, well, what's first? I mean, he has already made the comment that he is not going to go back to the way it was in March and April and shut down everything. But but then everybody was like, well, but he's probably going to shut down restaurants and bars again and stuff like that. So
you're not going to be able
people
to
rushing
wipe
out to
your
get TP. Everybody's got to protect the booty hole after a nice solid poo. So I understand.
Well, I'm done.
No, Steve, you're going to talk because you brought it up.
Hey, when you bring up toilet paper, what do you expect? What do you expect me to say?
It's middays with Maven. Last time I checked. So.
I really was driving. I was driving along traffic, and I wanted to keep this thought to myself, but because we're at the end, and it's too late for me to bring up the football team and our offensive line coach spoke yesterday, and I was going to go through some of his sound at the end, but I didn't want to say this out loud. But it's like over the last 6 months, I've never been more disappointed in the human race. I literally, like, when you talk about rushing to the, you saw what happened last time you rushed to the store to buy up all the toilet paper. Like, gosh, Lee, like it's just bad.
Well, there's plenty of toilet paper down here in Tennessee.
Texas want to know who
if anybody needs some.
Who are the starters, Steve? Just tell everybody who the stars are. While I
could bring some back and sell it for a very high price. If anybody needs it, just call it a favor. I can get.
Who are the starters right now, Steve?
I can bring takeout, all kinds of stuff down here. Let's see. So I may never come home. The starters for the basketball team. I don't know what's home anymore. Yeah, thank you. Yes, absolutely. That is an iPad. Yes, sir. Who
are the starters right now?
David Johnson or Carlik Jones, David Johnson, Dre Davis, Sam Williamson, Jalen Withers.
Who's sixth man?
That's tough. Without Malik and Charles.
Josh is just now getting back.
Yeah, I'm going to say Quinn.
Okay.
Right? Aiden. So we got Quinn and Aiden. Yeah.
We're forgetting somebody.
Yeah, I feel like there's somebody we're forgetting.
Does Gabe play this year?
Oh yeah, he's gonna have to now, right? I mean, with Malik out, sure. With Malik and Minlin out, no, he's absolutely gonna have to play. But I like Wisnitzer. I think he's good. I think he's gonna be good. Now again, I don't know how much that's gonna translate this year, but I do think he's gonna be a good player for us down the road. I mean, without a doubt.
Davis physical enough to play an undersized 4?
No.
Well, we'll learn that.
Well, wing.
Yeah, we'll learn that.
He's wiry, strong guy. He'll be wiry, strong.
Sam, I mean, and Sam's put on weight, and I mean, so I mean, can he do a little more than what he did? I think that's a very big possibility as well. So, yeah.
Okay, just before we get out of here, has your level of excitement towards the weekend Friday night game, has it went up, went down, stayed the same with all this basketball talk?
It's a terrible answer because I told you before, and I mean, if you want your pound of flesh from Louisville fans, I think it's over because I don't think wins and losses are going to bother Louisville fans with the last 3 games.
But you're not excited, like, just to see them out there executing.
Yeah, I am, but I'm more excited to see, like, are you going to play a few new guys? Like, and I hate to do that, but I am, I'm excited to see how Jalen Mitchell, Berkeley, and maybe Aiden Robbins, how they continue to progress.
Are they as good as they looked last game?
Right. I mean, I'm excited about that. I'm excited about the possibility of will you give give T-Web some run? Maybe, in a game like Syracuse where you're an 18-point favorite, and we would hope that you can handle business.
Mm-hmm.
So will T-Web get some run, or will you just go to Puma or Evan? And I think if you don't see T-Web on Friday, then the T-Web train is sailed. Like, you're not going to see him all year.
If you don't see him on Friday.
Yeah, then I think that's not going to happen until next year, period. So, yeah, I mean, there's things like that. But, I mean, am I nervous for a win? And here's the sad thing. I probably should be. Because, I mean, if Louisville won their last 3 games, that's 5 wins. I think